Fertile forests in Thailand that remain in their original condition only exist in protected areas, such as national parks and wildlife sanctuaries, making up only 15% of the country's land area. These forest landscapes are protected by virtue of two important legislations, namely the Wildlife Preservation and Protection Act and the National Park Act, enforced for almost half a century. Of the remaining 15% of protected areas, only a few have intact ecosystem structures, that is, fertile forest, and dense wildlife populations from predators such as large carnivores to herbivores, and other wild animals which survive poaching, and the destruction of habitats at human hands. They are able to live in safety, as well as to breed and play their significant roles in the ecosystem. Several of them have become endangered species. The Western Forest Complex, or WEFCOM, is the important habitat for large body-sized species and globally endangered species. It is one of the largest protected forest landscapes in the Southeast Asian region, straddling along the Tenasserim Range at the Thai-Myanmar border, from Umpang Forest down to Kengkrachan Forest Complex, covering a vast area of over 40,000 square kilometers. The core area of Western Forest Complex is recognized by UNESCO as a Natural World Heritage Site, covering an area of 6,400 square kilometers. This is the Hue Kha Keng and Tung Yai Naresun Wildlife Sanctuary, ranked as a Tiger Conservation Landscape Level 1 of global priority. Hue Kha Keng and Tung Yai Naresun have been proven by scientists as the most important conservation site for Indo-Chinese tigers in Southeast Asia. The Thai government has cooperated with international conservation agencies and institutes in the conservation of tigers and wild animals through the use of modern technologies for tiger population recovery. Responsible officials have been working devotedly to turn the tide of extinction, the fate of tigers in other areas of the world. The story of tigers in Thailand started with a long and continuous dedicated research work led by Dr. Saksit Simcharoen, a wildlife researcher of the Department of National Park, Wildlife and Plant Conservation, who has conducted tiger research for over 10 years. The major work of Dr. Saksit is tiger ecology research through the use of radio telemetry. The technique of tiger trapping, immobilizing, and tiger data collection has been transferred from an important world tiger expert, Dr. Dave Smith, from the University of Minnesota, USA.
This project here in Wai Khao King is the first tiger research in Southeast Asia. It's very important to start some research here in the Western Forest Complex. The Western Forest Complex is a part of even a bigger habitat. So we can say that the Western Forest Complex and the Tenasserim is going to be a safety valve place. It's one of the places where it's going to be most secure for tigers. There are many research priorities for tiger in Thailand. There have been no studies of tiger in Southeast Asia. There have been studies in Nepal, in Russia, and in India. So we really need a study of tigers in Southeast Asia. And the best place for that research is here at Wai Khao King, because this is the largest population of tigers in the entire region. We need to know about the breeding of tigers, and we need to know about seasonal differences in habitat use. And the only way to get this information is to really have a long-term research project. We probably need to be doing research on tigers for the next 15 or 20 years. And it's very important to have a large number of animals collared so that we can learn something about the social organization of tigers. If you have all the neighbors, then you understand how they're interacting with each other. So that's some of the reasons why it's very important to have a long-term research project.
From the study of the ecosystem, we came to know the behavior of tigers in Wai Khao King Forest Complex. A male tiger needs a home range of about 300 square kilometers, while its female counterpart uses about 4 times less area. Therefore, the home range of one male tiger can accommodate up to 4 female tigers. The home range of tigers in Wai Khao King is larger than that of the Indian tigers, but less than that owned by tigers in Siberia, which vary in accordance with the density of tigers' prey.
Much of the tiger habitats are excellent watersheds for major rivers, which we need for our own survival anyway. And these forests and the animal and plant communities are very complex, and we need them for our survival also, because many future foods, fuels and fibers will come from the genes that are locked up in these forests. So if we remove pieces of these communities like the tiger or one prey species or one plant species, eventually we lose a lot more species. So for very selfish reasons as well as for very moral reasons, we have to save the tiger.
As tiger is prominently featured in the Western Forest Complex, the Department of National Parks, Wildlife and Plant Conservation, with the support from international conservation agencies and particularly the Wildlife Conservation Society or WCS, has set a target to seriously recover tiger population in the Wai Khao King and Tunyai Naresuan Wildlife Sanctuary since the year 2006, with the hope that within 10 years, about 50% of tiger population should be recovered in the Wai Khao King Forest Complex. The infrared-triggered camera traps are able to identify tiger density and their population trend. A tiger walked towards the set-up automatic camera. It became suspicious, perhaps because of the body odor left in the area by researchers. But the camera worked as planned. Tiger stripe patterns can be used to identify each tiger, just like human fingerprints. Presently, it can be summarized that the Huekakeng Wildlife Sanctuary is home to about 80 tigers. When combined with the number of tigers captured by camera traps in Tung Nhai Naresuan Wildlife Sanctuary, it is estimated that around 100 tigers roam the natural World Heritage Site here, almost half of the tiger population once estimated to remain in Thailand. The guidelines for tiger population conservation and recovery aim at increasing the number as targeted by protecting them from being poached while protecting animals that are tiger preys, namely sambar, gar, banteng, wild boar, and muntjak, not to be poached until the number is not sufficient for the recovery of tiger population. The problem of illegal wildlife poaching in Thailand mostly came from hunters who regularly poach these ungulates illegally for wild meat to be sold to local food shops or for their horns and antlers sold to trophy collectors. The tiger conservation program, therefore, has to be conducted in tandem with the conservation of the ungulate population. These park rangers are being trained in the use of the Global Positioning System, or GPS, to record data of the patrol routes, including data on wildlife threats, as well as to coordinate the position of gunshots, wildlife snares, and poaching hides. They must be able to record data of tigers and major wild animals encountered during the patrol, to be fed into the Geographic Information System, or GIS, and the patrol database. The system is called the Smart Patrol System. The Department of National Parks, Wildlife and Plant Conservation has adopted this technology in its patrol work to upgrade the standards of the supervising of conservation areas in Thailand to an international system. This has been used in the operations at Huekakeng Wildlife Sanctuary for more than 4 years now, as a pride of park rangers. It is therefore essential for the conservation movement of tiger and other wild animals, as well as the forest complex that remains in Thailand.
สิ่งที่คาดหวังของการอบรมเจ้าหน้าที่ป่าไม้หัวแกงคือให้เจ้าหน้าที่ปฏิบัติงานได้อย่างมีประสิทธิภาพมีการทำงานอย่างเป็นระบบอย่างต่อเนื่องและถูกต้องนะครับสามารถปฏิบัติหน้าที่นะครับได้อย่างเป็นรูปธรรมมากขึ้นครับ
These park rangers play a very important role in the survival of tigers and wild animals which are tiger preys. To get prepared for the task by building physical and mental strength, as well as conscientiousness in their duties, enables them to protect wildlife from hunters effectively.
ตอนนี้เรากำลังพยายามที่จะทำให้งานลาดตระเวนของหน่วยของเขตรักษาพันธุ์สัตว์ป่าห้วยขาแข้งนะฮะให้มีความเข้มแข็งมากขึ้นอันนี้อันแรกเลยเป้าหมายก็คือพยายามที่จะทำให้ลาดตระเวนกันได้อย่างจริงจังทีนี้พอลาดตระเวนอย่างสมัยก่อนเนี่ยเขาก็ไม่มีไอตัวข้อมูลอะไรเลยว่าไปตรงไหนได้แต่กลับมาถึงแล้วก็รายงานด้วยวาจาทีนี้เราอยากจะทำให้มันเป็นระบบโดยที่ทำให้คนที่เป็นระดับหัวหน้าเขตรักษาพันธุ์สัตว์ป่าหรือว่าระดับผู้ช่วยเนี่ยได้เห็นภาพจริงจังด้วยเราก็เลยพยายามที่จะสร้างระบบใหม่โดยที่ให้พวกนี้เนี่ยเขามีอุปกรณ์ที่จะเก็บข้อมูลเข้ามาอุปกรณ์ที่สำคัญก็มี GPS กล้องดิจิทัลนะฮะแล้วก็มีแบบฟอร์มเก็บข้อมูล
Each patrol team of park rangers in the Huekakeng Tung Nhai Naresuan World Heritage Site will be trained to be able to summarize the monthly patrol summary through the use of the Geographical Information System, or GIS, and to consult within the team on direction for patrol, or to set a long-term plan to handle threats encountered effectively. The Smart Patrol System technology enables the presentation of patrol summary in the form of maps so that officials can decide, plan, and handle the problems in a concrete and timely manner. They also are trained to use a digital camera to record data of wildlife and all kinds of threats encountered during the patrol to be fed into the central database for the enhanced efficiency in intensive supervision of wildlife and forest. The Department of National Parks and Wildlife Conservation hopes that the introduction of new knowledge and technology for serious and strong operation will enable tigers to survive and the tiger population to be recovered in the Western Forest Complex as the last hope for the conservation of the tiger population in Southeast Asia.